Why everybody says good morning and not bad morning?
Positive affirmation.
Exactly. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This shows that we want to be good. We want to be happy. These are actually teachings. So the morning will not be good just by saying good morning. You have to act and live in such a way that the morning becomes good, afternoon becomes good, evening becomes good, night becomes good. In Tibetan we use the word, you know the word to greet? Huh? What? Only 2-3 people know. Tashi Deleg. Tashi Deleg. Tashi means auspiciousness. Deleg means well-being, goodness, well-being and goodness. So this is a complete Buddhist teaching, Tashi Deleg. So when we say Tashi Deleg, on any occasion you can say Tashi Deleg. On birthday or morning, evening, you can say Tashi Deleg. Of course you can't say Tashi Deleg when somebody died. So it is saying, may there be auspiciousness of temporary well-being and long-term goodness. That's the meaning. Temporary well-being means that you obtain such precious human life again and again and are able to do Dharma practice. And long-term goodness means you should achieve liberation and enlightenment. It's a very profound word, Tashi Deleg. Auspiciousness. Similarly, you know the Tibetan mantra Om Mani Padme Hum? How many of you know? Very good, very good. Om Mani Padme Hum. So sometimes reciting mantra is also very important because these mantras are almost like magic formulas. And this word mantra, Om Mani Padme, also contains the complete teaching of the Buddha. The word Om is a combination of 3 letters, A, O, Ma, which has 2 levels of meaning. The first level of meaning refers to the body, speech and mind of the enlightened being, the Buddha, the exalted being, Om. Second level is our ordinary body, speech and mind. Right? So the Om has 2 levels of meaning. Body, speech, exalted body, speech and mind of the Buddha and our ordinary body, speech and mind. Now when we do Dharma practice, the purpose of our Dharma practice is to transform this ordinary body, speech and mind and make it become the body, speech and mind of the Buddha. That means that you yourself become Buddha. How should we do it? So the first letter Om, you know the meaning now, right? And the last letter is Hum. Hum means to become one, to become indivisible. Meaning the ordinary body, speech and mind or the ordinary person becomes indivisible or becomes one with the Buddha. Meaning he gets enlightened, Om, Hum. Now what is the process of making this ordinary Om, indivisible Hum from the enlightened being? Through the practice of Mani and Padme, through method and wisdom, through compassion and wisdom. So Mani is wish fulfilling gem. Mani is a Sanskrit word. Mani, Sanskrit word, it means gem. Just like the wish fulfilling gem, if you have that love and compassion, it will benefit you and benefit many others. So you should have this heart, the compassion and love. That must be supported by wisdom. Padme. Padma, lotus. Padma, lotus. A lotus born in the mud rises above it and remains clean. So similarly, with wisdom, you may be in the samsara, but with wisdom you can remain unalloyed. Complete teaching of the Buddha. Om Mani Padme Hum. So by understanding that meaning, if you recite it, number one, you can think about the meaning. Number two, that mantra is also almost like the name mantra of Avalokiteshvara, the deity of compassion. Right? And in Tibet it is said that you don't have to teach this mantra to any Tibetan, because there's such strong practice, such a strong vibe that people just pick it up. Om Mani Padme Hum. Right? And once I read a story of one Australian rock climber. She has written a very beautiful book. So she scaled many mountains and she wanted to go to Tibet. And before going to Tibet, she visited Manali here in Himachal Pradesh, where His Holiness was teaching. Then His Holiness, she told her about her plan to go to Tibet. I think she was then going to scale the Fuji mountain in Japan also. Anyway, she met His Holiness. His Holiness gave him some protective threads and probably taught this word, Om Mani Padme Hum. So she goes to Tibet. It's a very interesting journey across Tibet or something like the book. And some years back, then she came to Dharamsala. I saw her. I had already read that book long before. So she memorized that mantra. And then when she was in Tibet, she faced so many problems. So instead of reciting the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum, she ended up saying something like that, Om my sweet mommy and home, something like that. It's a very interesting book. It just came in my mind. Okay, so this morning we should do a little bit meditation. Short introduction on meditation and a little bit 5 minutes meditation. Meditation is of many types. But to summarize it, there are two main types of meditation. One-pointed meditation and analytical meditation. Right? So meditation is not equal to one-pointed meditation. This is important because many people think meditation means just sit there and just focus on one object. This is just a part, not the complete meditation. So therefore, one-pointed meditation and analytical meditation. Now, one-pointed meditation is important not only in the spiritual practice, but also in your day-to-day work. If you don't concentrate, you will not enjoy what you are doing. If you don't enjoy, you will not achieve any success in whatever you're doing. That's why most of us don't achieve any success. You may be just doing that for money, there's nothing else to do, you're not enjoying it, so you're not able to concentrate. So you should be able to concentrate. In order to be able to concentrate, when we say you should be able to concentrate, you should concentrate, then they say, Geshe, I am unable to concentrate, what should I do? Then I tell them, you should like what you are doing. Number one step is, you should like what you are doing. If you like it, then like small kids playing with a toy, even if you tell them, don't play, now stop, they will not stop because they like it. Therefore in Buddhism, out of the 6 perfections, effort means not just working hard, not just perspiring. Effort means delighting in what you do. If you enjoy what you do, whatever it is, you can learn many things, you can enjoy it, and while working, you will become an expert in it, so that you yourself can become an expert and teach many other people while working. Most of us are not able to do it because they say, oh, ये तो मुझे करना पड़ेगा, I have to do this. क्या करूँ? फंस गया. So in between I insert 2-3, Indian words. My Indian friends like it very much. Right? So like it. So concentration. concentration is the source of success both in war and in peace. To put it in a nutshell, concentration is source of success both in war and in peace. Now when you do the meditation, you are asked to observe certain physical postures, which is not a must, but if you do it, it has its own significance. So with the physical postures, your two legs should be fully cross-legged or half cross-legged. If you have a knee or any other problem, then of course you can sit on the chair also, because meditation is primarily done by the mind, not by the body. But if you observe those postures, it has the added advantage of proper flow of the energy. When there is proper flow of the energy, the mind which rides on the energy also remains clear and sharp. For example, if you can read the same book by sitting erect, or you can lying down and sleep, And when you read it by lying down, in most of the cases you will fall asleep. There's a clear indication that mind becomes dull when your physical postures are not correct. Right? So the two legs should be fully cross-legged or half cross-legged. And the hand, the left hand below, right hand on top of it, and then these two thumbs touch each other, the tip of the two thumbs touch each other, and the tip of this touching tips of the two thumbs should be at the level of your navel. So as soon as you do it, your body becomes a little bit more straight and erect, right? Do it. Then the elbows should not be like this, because if you sit for long meditation, you need ventilation, flow of air between this, right? Do this. And then your head should be straight. When I say the back should be straight, head should be straight, it is not suggested that you should become rigid, because the very purpose of meditation is relaxation, not for rigidity. Relaxed but straight up. Okay? And then the head should not be slightly bent forward, but not bent too much forward, because if you bend too much forward, it will invite sleep, laziness, dullness. And if you let the head go too much backward, it will induce arrogance. People who are very arrogant, they go like this. Didn't I tell you last time? Then in one text it also says, if you let your head tilted towards the left shoulder, it will induce attachment. Here we can do some scientific experiment how far this sounds true. Then if it is tilted towards right shoulder, it induces anger, hatred, things like that. This is explained. I saw it in one text. I read many texts, but in one text I saw this. It is very interesting. And then your lips, your tongue, your teeth, they should be in a normal position. And the upper palate of the tongue upper side of the tongue should touch the upper palate gently, so that when you sit for long meditation, you don't feel thirsty. And also it will help not to let your saliva fall out, right? And the nose, two eyes should be made to fall gently towards the tip of the nose, but not trying to see it, but in a normal way, let it fall towards it. You don't have to make effort to see it, because if you make effort to see it, if you have a small flat nose, you will not be able to see it. And some people may have the advantage of quickly seeing it, because some people have very prominent nose, right? So the effort is not to see it, but let it fall towards that. Then the next thing is, then you should do the meditation. Now I am talking about one-pointed meditation. Now in the case of one-pointed meditation, generally speaking, you can choose any object. Any object. It doesn't have to be a holy, sacred, something. Any object, just to achieve concentration. But if you choose a holy object, there is a double benefit. The double benefit is that you have an object to concentrate, and while concentrating on that holy object, like the Buddha's statue or image, you are also remembering the Buddha. It's not like remembering a stone. Different. So make sure that you get this bonus, special advantage. So choose the image of an object. Now in this case, say the Buddha image here. So when you meditate, what should be the state of your eye? Some people say you should close your eye. Most of the people, they say close your eye. The reason that they say is because when you close your eye, naturally there is less distraction, so it looks like your meditation is more successful. But I have read some texts, and I also support them, that you should not actually close your eye completely. Little bit close, not completely. Because when you close your eye, temporarily it looks like your meditation is more successful, but in the long run it may not be of great benefit. Because in your regular life, when you go to the market, when you meet people, you can't go to market with closed eyes. But concentration should be there also, right? Concentration should be there also. And then also another reason for me is to avoid distraction, you have closed your eye, then why don't you close your ear also? Why don't you close your nose also? So this is a little bit too much, right? So the important thing is while you are seeing, while you are hearing, while you are tasting everything, make sure you are not distracted by these encounters, these objects, and you are able to concentrate on whatever is important for you. That's important. Okay? So now normally, if you choose, say, the image, if you are Buddhist, you can choose the image of Buddha. If you are Christian, the cross. It depends whichever religion. Meditation is meditation does not belong to Buddhism. It's a technique of training the mind. Right? So you can use it. Now, for example, if you use the image of the Buddha, then first you look at the Buddha's image. Study it carefully. Then after that, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Try to get a mental picture of the Buddha. And when you meditate, you are not looking at the real image, because you can't carry this big image everywhere you go. But you need to meditate on a Buddha everywhere you go. So get a mental picture of that image, right? And then try to focus on that image. Now when you meditate on that mental image of the Buddha, it should not be an image which is really oversized, too big, so that it is not within the purview of your focus. If it is too big, you can't focus on it. And it should also not be too small, so that with slight blow of wind, it is taken away. So it should be small size, but a little bit heavy. Mentally you are thinking it's small size, a little bit heavy, and it's not just image, but the real Buddha smiling, radiating with the light. Imagine something like that. And then that should be visualized at a distance where your full body length prostration can reach. When you lie down and stretch your hand, so around that distance, not down, not up, to the level of your mid-eyebrow. Imagine, meditate on that. So in the beginning, when you meditate on that, then you know how difficult meditation is. Then your mind will get distracted. Number one, your mind is not familiar with that image. You are trying to meditate, you are not so familiar, so it goes away. The sixth Dalai Lama is a very revolutionary and a little bit controversial also. So he wrote a small book, Songs of the Sixth Dalai Lama. Some people prefer calling it the love songs of the Sixth Dalai Lama. For me, those poems have very inspiring, teachings. So there is one verse in that text where he says, the face of my teacher which I meditate never comes in my mind, but the face of my girlfriend which I don't meditate always comes in my mind. So this shows your liking and disliking, or your neutrality, or your habituation, whatever. So in the beginning it will be almost an uphill task. Afterwards, when we do the meditation, you will know it. And I'm sure you did this meditation many times before, so you know it. So when you meditate, and then the object you are supposed to meditate is not coming, or maybe for an instant and then disappears.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Why not to meditate on the girlfriend?
Yeah, I said already.
So, I mean...
Yeah, you can, please.
Okay.
But you don't get the bonus. No, this we'll discuss maybe later on. But I want to answer a little bit. Because you can, basically. But then if you meditate on your girlfriend, I don't know whether it will bring any virtuous qualities. Yeah. You're not supposed to joke. We are talking about a very serious subject. No, yeah.
But I get his point. Isn't it just supposed to be an object of focus and nothing more?
No, as I mentioned earlier, the purpose is to achieve concentration.
Yes.
So if you just focus on your girlfriend, you will not be able to concentrate. I'm telling you. Your mind runs towards it, but when you really sit and think about ask your mind to concentrate on that object, girlfriend, again it will not concentrate.
Is it because it has deeper meaning?
Huh?
Is it because it has deeper
Because when you try to concentrate on that girlfriend, then your mind start thinking about many of her traits, behaviors. You'll not be able to concentrate on one thing. And worse than that is, you will end up developing more obsession and attachment to that. That is not our purpose. Our purpose is, number one, to still the mind, and then gradually go into the more positive objects, right? So therefore, people ask the question, when I try to concentrate, I am not able to concentrate. Many other things are coming in my mind. What should I do? If you notice that, many other things which you are not concentrating coming in your mind, then the answer is very good. The answer is very good. If you are observing many things coming in your mind, it's very good to start with. And then some people, they say, and not only many things come in mind, but the more I meditate, the more so many things come in my mind. Other things come. Very, very good. Very, very good. Because you have at least started noticing what is coming in your mind. So then gradually, don't let it remain like that. You need to say, okay, this time I'm not concentrating on you. I'm concentrating on that chosen object. So please go away. You have to still the mind. So that's why in Indian word we have these two words, shamat and vipassana. Shamat and vipassana. Shamat, loosely or literally translated in English, it's called calm abiding meditation. Vipassana is translated as special insight meditation. Calm abiding means to be able to meditate one-pointedly on one object, you need to first of all calm the invasions. Hosts of thoughts that is coming in your mind, you need to calm them. You need to dissipate them, send them away. Then, having sent them away, abide on the chosen object. That's the meaning of calm abiding. Right? So therefore, it's not only in meditation, even otherwise we always say, concentrate. Dhyan lagao, bolta hai na, dhyan laga ke kaam karo, bolta hai na, concentrate. So concentrate, if you concentrate whatever you do, within a relatively short time you will achieve so many great things. Be it your expertise in, computer software, hardware, ordinarily speaking. Whatever you are doing, if you really concentrate and do it with full effort, you achieve excellence in a relatively short time. Most of us don't achieve it because number one, we don't enjoy. Number two, we don't concentrate. Number three, then we don't have this consistency, doing it regularly, so that you become habituated or expert in it. So that must be there. So now, to prove my point, let us meditate. Normally people are suggested to meditate on one's breath, which is neither holy nor unholy, or not sacred or something, but it is something that is there with you. Breath is something that is there with you, but not only with you, but you've been breathing since time immemorial, since you are born. It is there, but you have not. You did not pay any special attention to it, right? So therefore, many of us may be breathing wrongly. Sometimes we breathe so quickly. Sometimes, so laboriously, right? And sometimes, then when you have a fear, then the breath just comes out from the. इतना डर गया कि मुंह से सांस निकल गया बोलते हैं. I was so frightened that the breath came out of my mouth. So it doesn't go down, it goes there. So what you need to do is, number one, observe the inhalation and exhalation. And when you do that, normally it is suggested you should be able to use your diaphragm. Right? Breathe in through the nostril, not through the mouth. You can do, some people say breathe through the mouth, breathe through the nose. But my reading or finding is, as much as possible, breathe through the nose, because nose has filter. Filter laga hua hai inside, so that the dust particles and the bad substances doesn't come in. Second, it makes the air coming from outside. If it is very cold air, it warms it. It warms it. Sometimes, if you open your mouth and breathe, itna thande, so cold, you have difficulty. So there is a filter inside your nose, and also it makes the outside air cool, right? So breathe through the nose. Breathe through the nose and then send it through what you call as the trachea. And what was the other name? Trachea and then? Esophagus. Esophagus, the general name. Trachea and then larynx and trachea, right? Then bronchi, what do you call it? Bronchi. And then it splits into,
bronchioles. Then bronchioles means many parts, branches linked to both the lungs. Then on the tip of all these branches, there are small alveoli. I had difficulty. Alveoli, the little sacs, almost like a grape. Things are there, many, many, hundreds and thousands. So it is said when you breathe in, go all the way, then you need to fill those small, what was that? those sacs. Because it is said, because our breathing, process of breathing is so weak, many of these are not even contracted. That's why we get a problem. Because I translated for His Holiness Dalai Lama many years. During one of my trip to London, I consulted a speech therapist. She also said the same thing, You need to use the diaphragm when you speak. Things like that. So anyway, so let us imagine that your consciousness or your mind is in between the two nostrils, and the breath, when you exhale and the breath goes out, imagine that the mind is going with it. And then when it comes in, imagine it's coming in. So going out and coming in should be counted as one. And then two. Inhalation, exhalation 2, inhalation, exhalation 3, like that, count it. So see for how many count you are able to stay on the chosen object, the breath, without getting distracted. We'll all fail with the first count. Anyway, I should not make judgment. So let us do, and see. Okay, thank you.
Were you successful?
At one?
Uh-huh.
At one?
Yeah. Successful at one. Difficult to say because as soon as you focus one object, still your mind, your vision becomes clearer, your capacity to hear things become clearer, because you now when you meditate and remain quiet, you are able to hear that singing of the bird so clearly. Right? So this also shows that instead of talking all the time, if you remain silent and watch the nature, you can discover many, many new things. Right? Yeah?
How to chant Om Mani Padme Hum if we want to purify any patterns which we have recognized?
How to chant?
Yeah.
Chant just Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Some people want to sing, but it is not needed to sing. There is somewhere they made Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Some people like to do that, but it's not needed. Just chant it, think about the meaning. Yeah. And there are many mantras. There is a mantra of the Heart Sutra, which teaches emptiness. Then there is a mantra of Tara Devi. So for success, for birth of a good birth of a child, or to get rid of obstructions, there are many different mantras. But the important thing is not just recite the mantra, but understand the meaning. Understand the meaning. Right? Okay? Yeah. Did you raise your hand?
Yes, what if the counting becomes our object of concentration? Is that still
Yeah.
beneficial? Isn't it a distraction?
Counting.
Counting the breath?
Yeah.
What we just did?
Yeah.
Is it right if that?
Very good question. But still,
I noticed
yes, true. Very good question. But still, your mind, if it is still focused on the incoming and outgoing breath, then it's okay. If the mind get distracted, then it's distraction. But make sure that your mind is on the flow of the breath.
So does that mean that as long as we're counting, we are concentrated?
While counting, your mind should be still on the object. That is possible.
So it's like
Just like when I was younger, and quite young, I tried to ride a bicycle. Well, just like small kids, they're very fond of learning bicycle. So in the beginning, every time you have little bit doubt, you fall. Then gradually you ride and then you get trained in it. Then while you are riding, which is the main focus, you can also talk and look around, something like that. So main focus should be not lost. Okay? Okay, so the purpose of one-pointed concentration is so that you are able to concentrate on those things which is really, really important. You call it spiritual practice, whatever you want to call it, you should be able to concentrate on the important issues of life, like happiness, peace, harmony, those important things. That is the point. And then in the long term, Buddhahood, enlightenment, all those things are there. But to start with, this needs to be repeated or repeatedly said, because most of the case we are distracted. To this, to that, there are so many areas where we can easily distracted. From all sides, it looks like from all sides, things and people, they are saying, come here, come here, come here, come here. Just like in a marketplace, where everybody is trying to sell something, and you get so distracted. If you go to a big, big fair or mela, as we say in Hindi, you get so distracted. There are cases of mother or father losing their children in the mela.
because you are completely distracted to this multicolored, different, merchandise and things like that, and you get lost. This is our situation. This is our situation. And we are totally obsessed and distracted with the sensual objects. And there is no time to reflect back. Concentration is concentration by the mind, and we have no time for that. So distracted. It used to be like that in ancient times also. Now, situation is much more worse. Now with all these technical products, the shiny gadgets, your mobile phone, your TV screen, so many things, you're so distracted. And imagine this time we spend on the screen. Then if you look at these big malls, mushrooming and coming out everywhere, you spend your whole day there going around. Right? Everything is displayed so nicely, the atmosphere is good, everything is displayed so nicely. Then there is this caption, buy one free. Right? And then you also have, now in the modern system of things, you also have not much idea how much money you have, because your money is in your plastic card. And you are so mesmerized and so carried away by this displays, you go around and as always, we imitate other people. Other people are just taking one basket and going around and putting something. And you thought, I should also, we are monkey, so we think I should also do this. You have no idea what you're going to buy. You have no plan. You also pick one basket. And then you cannot just go around with an empty basket all the time. Other people might laugh at you, right? So then you see this, buy one free. Then you put one, buy one. At that time, then we are suffering from what we call as market intoxication or shopping coma. So unless you are very alert and very mindful, you can easily drift into this state everywhere in the world today. Because our focus and our innovations and the things that we produce in the material world is so much that you are flooded by these, commodities. And then, as I was mentioning, then you keep on putting something in your basket, and then you give you a plastic card, and the machine takes away your money. It's only when you come out of this mall, and especially when you reach home and unpack what you bought, you realize, why the hell I bought this? It's already there in my room. Am I lying? Or is this true? Because we are not attentive, we are not aware what we are doing. Right? So therefore meditation, concentration, mindfulness is important, so that you are able to do really good things. But unfortunately, even these practices, mindfulness and concentration, is now taught in the army to kill people. Even to kill people, you need to concentrate. So there are guns which can really concentrate on the target, machines which can hit the target. So unless you concentrate, you won't achieve anything. So in the Buddhist practice, this process of concentration should be used in developing positive emotions, positive qualities, and especially, which is not so much mentioned in many of the texts, concentration especially should be there in helping others. At the end of the day, it is not just meditating on a pillar or a girlfriend or a Buddha. It's not just that. The end purpose is that you are able to concentrate in helping others. Just as you have been concentrating upon yourself. Right? So concentration, as I mentioned, is the source of success both in war and in peace. And I would add by saying that source of success both for your personal well-being and well-being of all other sentient beings. But then, this does not mean to say concentration alone is enough. Especially concentrating on just on your breath is enough. No, there's no fun watching your breath and die. It's useful, but that is not the ultimate purpose. Right? There's not the ultimate purpose. Right? So therefore, this process of concentration should be strengthened through analytical meditation. You should, in your regular study, don't just read a book, analyze what is the meaning, what is the purpose. When you read a book also, it's not necessary that you read the book from cover to cover. Some writers, they say if you read 1 or 2 chapters, you don't get anything, you won't get anything from that book, just throw it away. Or you should just read that chapter which sounds interesting. Right? So therefore, anyway, the point I'm making is, it is not what you read, but what you learn that makes you learn it. It is not what you eat, but what you digest that makes you healthy. Right? So therefore, here also, analyze what is really important, what is less important, what is good for you, what is good for others. Analyze it. So analytical meditation is even more important than one-pointed meditation. Analyze throughout your life, day, wherever you go, you should think and analyze, use your brain intelligence. And then through that analytical meditation, when you develop conviction on certain things, then focus on that. It's like a mathematical calculation, you know. You first, okay, 53, 63, 73, that's like analytical meditation. Then finally, okay, total 3,500 rupees. That's the sum, that's concentration. Okay, for example, if you think about impermanence, what is the meaning of impermanence? Why all conditioned things are impermanent? And especially why human life is impermanent? You analyze. And then finally you summarize it by saying, okay, all conditioned things are impermanent because of this, that. So conviction. Right? Any questions? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When using analytical meditation, and even through daily life, is there a danger of getting lost in concepts or in the conceptual?
Exactly. Yes, many people have asked this question to me. And many people do say, don't think too much. For me, this is true. Think about those things which bring some benefit, which is related to the transformation and issue of your life. Just this morning, while on my way, I was chatting with Anikumpinla. I was telling her that, the library where I work, the institute, organizes many science workshops for the benefit of monks and nuns. So I repeatedly tell them, yes, you should learn science, but learning science should not be just theoretical, like studying Buddhist philosophy. If studying Buddhist philosophy also becomes theoretical, no practice, studying science also becomes theoretical, no practice, it is of no use. So I've been telling people, just this morning I instructed my staffs in the science center that you should really come out with a few important points, how we can protect ourselves if there is earthquake here in Dharamsala. Especially now I'm not frightening you, especially they are talking about mega earthquake, 9 point something possible in Dharamsala, because Dharamsala is earthquake zone number 5. So instead of saying how many stars are there in the space, exactly what I told about the Buddha, So instead of that, do something that has relevance to you. Then you will not just get carried away by dry intellectual exercise, thought after thought, no conclusion. That's the problem, you see. So think, and then the conclusion, yes, This is very useful. Think about emptiness. Then what is the benefit? Otherwise, you are emptiness, I am emptiness, so what? Right? So I think it's always important to think and then come back to the reality, the possibilities of practice. Right? Okay?
Yesterday we talked briefly about anger, and I was wondering, would there be any difference between assertive anger and aggressive anger, or it's all the same?
There are different types of anger. Aggressive and assertive. Assertive, as the word itself says, you're asserting your right or something like that. And the aggressive means you are not only asserting, but you are trying to hit that other person, things like that. So those are only differences. But the important thing is, in both the cases, you are displaying your anger. You're becoming mad. So now the key point is, can you assert your right without getting angry? That is the main point. Yes, you can. That's why I said, in order to achieve something, without getting angry, you can be strong. You should be forceful. This is a very important point that we should understand. Because many people, when they talk about non-violence and compassion, they think this is weakness. And especially they think in today's world, this is weakness. And there is reason to think like that. Because, for example, Tibetans have been practicing, so maybe hopefully practicing compassion and non-violence for centuries. And then what happened to Tibet when the Chinese invaded? So with this, people think, but the important thing is, you do something violent, killing and shooting, for example, what has happened in Pahalgam. They're trying to achieve something quickly. Everywhere when you use, this is important, everywhere when you use violence, number one, you are trying to intimidate other people and quickly try to achieve something. Not realizing that violence always leads to more violence. Endless cycle of violence will be there, number one. Number two, it actually does not solve any problem. Think about the French Revolution, Russian Revolution. Many revolutions that were carried out by bloodshed. What did people achieve? Nothing. Right? Because it is against the human nature. In China also, for example, right now everything is controlled, use violence, then the CCTV, whatever, they use everything to control people, but deep down people are not happy. The only problem is they are not getting a proper space for sharing their real thinking. As soon as they get opportunity, they'll express it. So that is inhuman and against the law of nature, so it doesn't work in the long run. Non-violence and compassion may not solve a problem quickly, but in the long run, that is the only solution. Number one. Number two, it is in accordance with human nature to be non-violent, as I explained yesterday. Even if you look at the physical structure, it is non-violent nature and so forth. Right? So therefore, and then people who practice non-violence, they are actually strong people, brave people. Mahatma Gandhi, His Holiness Dalai Lama, many others who just use non-violence, they are strong people. The others are coward. Those who have no courage, those who have no reason. For example, when two people fight, the one person who has no reason, not much valid reason, he would immediately get angry because his reason already ran out. Whereas the other person who had reason, he'll remain calm. Gusamato, please don't get angry. I have things to explain. You see? So those who resort to arms and ammunition, this shows they have no justification, no reason. And then, as I mentioned earlier, in ancient times when people fight, they fight face to face, even at the most some stones and rudimentary, guns. there is a place for showing your bravery. Now you hide in a bunker, air-conditioned room, and push the button and kill people. Where is the bravery? And especially the leaders who instigate these things, they themselves have already constructed impenetrable bunkers. Most of the world leaders have bunkers to hide, and simply letting people to die, saying that in the name of the country you fight. And why don't you go? Why don't you go in the front line if you are so concerned about your country? Without me, the country cannot go forward. They'll say things, stupid things like that, which is just fooling people, right? So it's against human nature. Yeah.
With non-violence, when you were citing Gandhi and Mandela and all these people, there are people who, in the Dalai Lama, of course, have a very advanced, they're very intelligent, they're very advanced. Their consciousness is far ahead of most average people.
Yeah.
So they understand what real value is,
Yeah.
they see reality.
Yeah.
Then those are brave people because they know
Yes.
the risk might take their life.
Yeah.
But they understand the difference, and in the cases of almost everyone you mentioned, the risk did take their life. But I think maybe they are ahead of us, and they understand
they are
our life is not
definitely
worth trading down.
Definitely. So when we say, definitely they are much in advance than us. For example, Nelson Mandela remained in that Robben Island for 20 years. And when he was released, one day he went to a restaurant to eat something. The prison guard at that time, who mistreated him, was sitting in another corner. As soon as he saw Nelson Mandela, he was like perspiring and shivering. See, now he is the president, Nelson Mandela went there and said, "Hello, come and join us." You see. So yes, they are advanced, but that doesn't mean that our goal should not be that. Number two, more important thing is, actually many of these senseless killings can be stopped by following the path of non-violence. For example, His Holiness Dalai Lama, by preaching this path of non-violence, I can't imagine how many lives of Tibetans have been saved. He can also say, hijack an airplane. He can also say, okay, bomb an embassy. And Tibetans are not that coward, not that stupid not to be able to do that. Nobody has done this. Over more than 60 years, 66 years now, since Chinese came into Tibet. You have not heard Tibetans doing that. Why? Not because they are, not clever enough, and their willpower is bad. Their willpower is so strong. Over 160 something Tibetans self-immolated themselves rather than killing people. And there are many stories. One story that I remember clearly is there was a monk, when he was chased by the Chinese army, he managed to grab one gun from them. So instead of shooting back, he dismantled it on the floor. So these are not easy, but in the long run, not only you, the enemies and whatever, they all benefit. Now if to so-called save your people, you resort to guns, it's a mutual destruction. That's what we are saying today. Right? So it's like, emotionally, it's you say, for my country, I am ready to die. Emotionally, this feeling is very good. Many people do that, unfortunately. But then you die, what do you get? So without having to die, win the battle. Possibilities are there. It's an uphill task, not that easy. Yes.
As you said, we can meditate on holy object.
Yeah.
So before meditating on holy object, don't we have some connection with that? And if yes, how can we develop that?
So that's why I said, if you are Buddhist, you can use Buddha's image. If you're Christian, the cross.
If we are not,
So that means if you follow the religion, you already have some association with that.
if we don't have anything.
If you don't have anything, then meditate on water, flower. As I mentioned, you can meditate on any object. But this is how you should start. But then gradually, not just meditating on a flower all the time. Meditate on love. Meditate on compassion. Now when this is slight different meaning. When we say meditate on love and compassion, it's not like meditating on the flower. When you meditate on the flower, you imagine the flower outside or mental image and focus on that to achieve concentration. But when you meditate on love and compassion, it's not like you have compassion there and meditate on that. No. You change your mind, make your mind a compassionate one, make your mind a loving one. So that needs a lot of practice.
Setting up an intention towards.
Yes, yes. Yes.
You said there are like two types of meditation.
Yeah.
One to improve the concentration and the other to use that concentration towards one topic.
No. The second analytical meditation is to understand the reality as it is.
Yeah, but there is no like type of meditation that goes in a state of no mind, like in emptiness.
No mind is not possible. So long as you're alive, mind will always be there. But I got your point. But when you focus, let us say when you meditate on emptiness or meditate on space, how will you meditate on space? It's not like meditating on a flower. What do you mean by space? Space means something that is free from obstruction. So you just meditate on a reality which is free from obstruction. Right? So at that time your mind almost merges into that state of space or of emptiness. So at that time it almost looks like you have no mind, but mind of course is there. Otherwise how can you meditate? Okay, now one from here, yeah.
When you're doing shamatha meditation,
Yeah,
if your object is the breath,
yeah.
can you also have a visual object?
Yeah. Visual object. Visual object, you can have visual object like flower is a visual object, but the one that meditates is not the eye, but it's the mind.
No, I mean a mental image.
Yeah.
Can you focus on your breath and the mental image?
Focus on your breath.
And the mental image. Like when you said,
No, not together. Good question. Because generally you should meditate on love, you should meditate on your teacher, meditate on your compassion, meditate on patience, so forth. But when you try to achieve concentration, say on the flower, then at the time to try to concentrate also on emptiness is mistake. Just choose one object. And once you get expertise in that training, then you can change the subject. Yeah.
Thank you. Yesterday we were talking about suffering and happiness, that happiness comes from within.
Yeah.
Suffering,
Primarily, yes.
Yes, and suffering is something that we can transform because it's changeable.
Yeah.
But what about people with severe mental illness?
Severe illness.
Yeah, like for example, mental illness, not
Severe illness.
how they can train their mind.
No. It depends on many things. What kind of illness that person has. Sometimes it may not be the mental illness, it may be physical. So it's important to take medical treatment. Don't when they're already mentally disturbed, you don't tell them to meditate. It will disturb them more.
So, but that means that I'm gonna outsource happiness.
Because you can meditate only when the mind is calm. Okay? Because the precursor to meditation is morality. Morality means basically your mind is calm. Your mind is calm because you have not harmed anybody, you have helped everybody, you develop good positive qualities. So when you have this kind of calm mind, then you can meditate, not by a disturbed mind. A disturbed mind again means, I need to clarify this. Disturbed mind means we are all in a way disturbed by negative emotions. But there's a different kind of disturbance. But there's another group of people whose minds are really disturbed, completely not able to focus on anything. Yeah. Yes.
How long would you recommend that we meditate every day when we go back home?
It depends whether you are a beginner or a long-term meditator. If you're a beginner, maximum 5 minutes.
Okay.
Not very long. As I mentioned earlier, number one, you choose a inviting place, right? in your corner of your room, or if your special, shrine, wonderful. Otherwise, somewhere in the wood or wherever, something nice. Place should be inviting. You feel like sitting there. Okay, if the place is dirty, not inviting, where should I see it, then that's not good. Then, in the beginning, more sessions, short sessions. Do one session, 5 minutes. If you're successful, then take a break. Another 5 minutes. Successful? Wonderful. Do this few times. If you're successful, then prolong the time a little bit. 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. Right? But in the beginning, instead of doing short session meditation, if you force yourself, to do long meditation, then you will end up meditating on your knees and backs, not on the chosen object. So next time when you see the meditation seat, you will start vomiting. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Anybody? Yeah.
Some people's minds are able to visualize easily. Some people's minds are able to focus on words easily.
Some people what?
So some people's brains can visualize objects easily.
Yeah.
Some people's brain can focus on words easily. Everyone's mind is different.
Yeah.
My question is to get those bonus points that you talked about.
Huh?
To get those bonus points that
Yeah.
you talked about.
Yeah.
Can we concentrate on a mantra in your head?
You can, yes. Yes. It may be breath, it may be mantra, it may be an object. Yes.
Is vipassana a one-pointed meditation then?
Analytical meditation. Vipassana is analytical meditation. Shamatha is one-pointed meditation. Okay?
You mean the one that is taught by the mantra or
Yeah, okay.
Could you explain a little bit about the benefits of thinking of more the mundane benefits of meditating about the emptiness of the mind?
Mundane benefit. Too many benefits. Not only, supramundane or transcendental, but even mundane. Too many benefits. For example, when you meditate on emptiness, what you are saying. Now here you need to know what do you mean by emptiness. Emptiness is not equal to nothingness. Emptiness means empty of independent existence. Now listen carefully. Things exist, right? You exist, I exist, the temple exists, so many things exist. Things exist. When things exist, there are only two ways of existence. No other choice. Only two ways of existence. Dependent existence, interdependent existence. No third possibility. So for which you will vote? Anything that is existing, do they exist dependently or independently? Dependently. Huh? Dependently. Everything. There's nothing that is independent existence, right? Everything exists dependently, right?
Yes.
लॉक कर दूं?
Yes.
ठीक है. अमिताभ बच्चन को बुलाऊंगा मैं, ठीक है. लॉक कर दूं? Okay. So because things exist dependently, which you all agreed, wonderful news. Things exist dependently, there is nothing that has independent existence. So emptiness means empty of independent existence. So simple. Emptiness means empty of independent existence. No, so that is very clear to you right now. Now the benefit. What is use of asking that question? Now when the reality is that everything exists dependently, but to our ignorant, uninformed, confused mind, we tend to see just the opposite. We tend to see things as having independent existence. है ना? Right now you are sitting because You might think, oh, this is not what I think, but as I said, in your regular day-to-day life, it is not like that. You tend to see things as having independent existence. So much so that if things don't exist independently, then this is equal to having no existence for many people. When I was giving a public talk in Moscow some years back, I was talking something like this. Then there was a young boy who got up, a little bit perplexed, and he said, if things don't exist independently, then how can I love my girlfriend? You know what he's saying? Because the girlfriend that you should love must be there independently. If it is fragile, impermanent, having no independent existence, why should I love? How can I love? See? Now here he is already mixing the unalloyed love and business love. Not knowing that unalloyed love can be continued. See? So then, as a response to this, I told him, if you understand emptiness and things having no independent existence, not only you will love your girlfriend, you will love your girlfriend much more purely and sincerely. Because if you see your girlfriend having no independent existence, that she is fragile, she is impermanent, she is going to die, love comes, genuine love comes. She is fragile, she loves me, I love her, so I must take care of her. Then there is no business love. Ordinary love is business love, as I mentioned earlier. I love you so long as you love me. Business, whether you say it or not, this is there in our mind. So therefore, even in the mundane level, your obsession with many of these things will dissipate, go away. Your attachment to many things will go away. And you can save money also. Save a lot of money. Because I need to say this practical things. Because many people, they may not ask, but they may be thinking, okay, spiritually maybe, but what about my money? So financially also, you will be, there will be huge success, yes.
So Geshe Lhakdor, I was asking specifically about the emptiness of the mind.
Same. Because if you have obsession with your mind, attachment with your mind, right? And especially, mind, as I mentioned earlier, is your CEO, your boss. But unfortunately, we don't understand our own mind. So therefore, Shantideva in his Bodhisattva way of life, he says, unless you know the secret of your mind, even if you aspire happiness, and even if you wish to shun suffering, you will end up wandering aimlessly. You must therefore know the secret of your mind. Secret of your mind means the emptiness nature of the mind. Right? And even emptiness, not only everything. Ultimate nature of the mind is emptiness. Ultimate nature of this book is emptiness. What about emptiness itself? Then the Buddha's teaching says, emptiness of emptiness. It's also a designation. You know, if you try to analyze and pinpoint one object which exists independently, nothing. So this is almost like magic mystery, how things function, you know. And don't get shocked. This is now today with the modern, technology, you can really, see this on a television screen. Many of these good things, bad things that you see on the television screen, you can also get obsessed with them. Wow, this is so beautiful. Wow, this is so good. Wow, this car is so good. You really get obsessed with those things. But what is there in the screen? Exactly like that. So therefore, Buddha, 2,500 years before, had knew this, and he said, physical form is like a form, F-O-A-M. F-O-R-M, how do you pronounce it? Form. F-O-M, form, yeah. So I should have my English class, yeah. So this physical form is like a foam. And the feeling is like water bubbles. So with all these 5 aggregates, he gave examples. Now today, scientifically, technologically, if you scrutinize the truth of this teaching, you can show it to the people. Yes, this is true. This is our feeling. This is our physical form. This is our recognition. This is the conditioned phenomena. I think you can demonstrate it and show it. And Buddha saw it 2,500 years before. And ordinary people like us, because we don't know that, we are attached to this form. We are attached to this bubble. If you see a bubble on a tip of grass, will you develop attachment? You might say, beautiful, but you will not hopefully not develop too much attachment, because it's going to disappear the next moment. Less, with this understanding, less attachment. At least. Right?
So if we said that the nature of mind is clear and pure, and all the negative mental states like hatred, jealousy, anger, they are illusions. How can I...
Illusions, everything is illusion, but instead of the word illusion, we say they are temporary defilements.
So how can I know that me loving someone or being compassionate is not just a nicer, another kind of illusion?
Huh?
Maybe loving someone is just a nicer, another kind of illusion. How do I know that when I'm compassionate and loving, it's not just a nicer type of illusion than hating them?
Because it's helping other people. With the negative emotion, you are harming other people. Not only other people, as I mentioned, you will become the first victim. You will develop experience this unhappiness when you develop hatred.
How do I know it's not illusion? That I'm helping and I feel nice and they feel
No.
nice?
Let us not talk about illusion. What is your feeling when you develop hatred? Do you enjoy?
No. But I don't know.
So now the meaning is, number one, we should not talk about the ultimate reality to start with. Talk about the conventional reality. The conventional reality is that there are people sitting here. This is not illusion. The illusion that we are talking about, we are not talking about that right now. We are talking on a conventional level. These people are here. This is not illusion. You are in Dharamsala. This is not illusion. This is real. That is the conventional truth. Now when we go to the ultimate truth, then we talk about illusion. Because even the things that you are experiencing at the ultimate level is an illusion, so don't develop attachment, anger, jealousy. That's the meaning. But that does not mean to say that even at the conventional level there's nothing good, nothing bad. If you eat food, your stomach will not be filled. It's not saying things like that, right? And in fact, without depending on the conventional reality, there's no way you go into the ultimate reality. Because for example, when I talk about emptiness of the book, if there's no book, then how can I talk about emptiness of the book? So conventional realities are there, but they are not there as we think. That's the point. We think they exist independently, but that is not the case. Okay?
I'm curious about the phrase samsara and nirvana are one.
Yes.
If I could posit what I think it is, and if you could correct me if it's wrong. So my understanding is something like, here in this moment exists the conventional reality and the ultimate reality simultaneously, depending on whether I can see it or not. If I cannot see it, I am entrapped within samsara, but if I can see it, in this moment, here and now, I am in nirvana. No,
not exactly in that case. But when we talk about the equality of the nirvana and samsara, we are saying that in the ultimate analysis, if you look at the ultimate nature, both are same. Samsara also doesn't have independent existence. Nirvana also doesn't have independent existence, right? But that doesn't mean, say, if you pay attention, you will immediately see nirvana, you will immediately see samsara. Not just that. Yes, it is very much dependent on the mind, progress of the mind, But to be able to directly see nirvana, you need certain spiritual development. You can't just by thinking, I will see nirvana, you can't see it. No, not in that case. Yeah.
Sorry, what I meant just to clarify was obviously it would require a certain amount of development.
Yeah.
However, it's not some other place other than here. It's here, but seeing the here with different eyes, with fresh eyes.
Yeah. True. That's why on the first day I spoke about the need to change your perception. Yeah. Okay, yes.
There are times when we begin with one-pointed meditation, and how the awareness of everyday life without inviting comes in. Though it seems like a distraction, but however, if we allow to sit with it, it brings better perspectives to deal with it. So
No, that you're talking about. Yeah. You're talking. I think you're talking about two different things. When you concentrate, when you try to achieve concentration, then many of these things that you think about become distraction. But this is not to say that even when you are not concentrating, don't think about others, don't talk to others, don't make communication with others. It's not saying that, right? So normally, of course, there are things you should be aware of, people coming. You should be aware about the food and whatever. That cognizance must be there. But when you try to achieve one-pointed concentration, then it is a hindrance to think about many things apart from the object.
even though it brings better clarity to those everyday life situations, even while sitting, those things come in your mind.
Then of course we are not talking about concentration. You are talking about awareness.
Yes, the
Awareness, of course, is very important. Awareness. So that is not talking about concentration. Concentration means choosing one object and meditating on that. Awareness means whatever is happening around your surrounding, be aware of it, see them, and then you develop better clarity, better knowledge. Yes, you are right. Yeah.
Talking about single-pointed meditation.
Yeah.
I find it a lot easier to be aware when I take psychedelics, for example. It's easier to focus your mind on just one thing, or no thoughts even. What is Buddhism's take on psychedelics like LSD?
What is psychedelics? I heard about it. I have a book called Psychedelics. I couldn't read it. So a few times I thought, okay, I should check in the dictionary, whatever, So tell me, be my guru of psychedelics, yeah.
Yeah, like LSD or mushrooms.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now I got it. Yes. Thank you. So there are two ways of changing the consciousness. One is through systematic process, correct process. The other is shortcut. You see? So when you take LSD or opium and other things, things like that, then it's not systematic. It gives you some kind of new perception or happiness for the time being, but it will not linger. It will not stay for long to continuously enjoy that, the positive transformation. That's not there. I remember one monk, Tibetan monk, very senior monk, older than me. I used to work in Tibet House in New Delhi many years back. So we have a senior monk, he's a very funny monk. So one day he said, Geshe Lhakdor, I tested a little bit of this LSD. He's not like a drug addict or anything, but he tested it. Then he said, when I took that whatever, vapor or pill or whatever, I don't know. It's a vapor, right? Almost like vapor, something that you can't see. Yeah. So he said when he took it, then the effect goes on him. And then he said something like a drop falls from his eye or something like that and goes to the paper or the book in front. And then it becomes so soft that there's really no essence, nothing solid. So he said, realizing emptiness must be something like that. So there may be an element of, Resemblance may be there, yeah. But this is, so that's why I say, we don't need more hallucinating objects or substances because we are already hallucinated. Yeah.
Can I just add?
Yeah.
Das has really like a nice podcast and book on that, and he's been doing like 400 times psychedelics back in the 60s. And he traveled around India giving like huge doses of acid to gurus, and then nothing happened with these gurus because there was no ego or no mind it had to fight with. It's like really interesting how the insights he got from that.
Because I did the same thing. I went to Kumbh Mela and I gave LSD to Babas. And they definitely felt something. So that's my question about this. I read the story about Brahma.
Yeah, actually, we call it altered state of consciousness. Altered state of consciousness can happen with these material substances and through gradual training.
I have a question. This gentleman asked a very, very interesting question, is that anger and hatred and lust are a kind of emotion.
Yes.
And they are illusions.
Yes.
On a balance of probability, the love and compassion
They are also
and kindness
illusion.
could be an illusion.
Not good, illusion.
They are illusions. Right?
On the ultimate analysis, as I said.
Yeah, but and then this gentleman is asking.
Yes.
If we wanted to go
Hmm.
beyond good, bad, and ugly illusions, we
Hmm.
need to develop the.
No. This is very important. So, the point to be noted is, things exist, but they don't exist independently. Make a distinction between these two. Because even though things don't exist independently, but things exist, therefore there is goodness, badness. Goodness is good thing is good, bad thing is bad. On that level.
But to have a nirvana,
Yeah.
we need to go beyond the mind, and mind.
No,
induces
not beyond,
illusions.
not the beyond the mind. Nirvana means state of cessation of negative emotions. Mind is still there. This is also a point because even not just you, but in many of the ancient philosophical traditions, they say when you achieve nirvana, you become extinct. Then from the Mahayana perspective, it is said that then what is the fun of working so hard? Why don't you commit suicide much in advance? You see, so what is lost is the negative emotion. So nirvana is a state of cessation of negative emotions.
Can you define mind?
Huh?
Can you define mind?
Mind is something. Mind is, I would, in simple language, I would call it energy. It is energy that is luminous and cognitive. These are the luminous and cognitive. Okay, luminous and cognitive means just like a mirror, which is transparent and luminous. So because of that, any object that comes within its purview, it can reflect. Right? But different from that, or unlike the mirror, not only the mind can reflect, but it can also cognize, perceive. So luminosity and cognitivity is the definition of the mind.
And when we perceive things,
Huh?
we do it with our mind but through our brain.
True?
Through our brain but with our mind.
Now when we talk about brain, then when we talk about mind, we talk about grosser level of mind, subtle level of mind, and very subtle level of mind. The grosser levels of mind, like the 5, 6 sense consciousnesses, they are dependent on the sense organs. And then the grosser level of mind also dependent on the brain. But when you go to the subtle, very subtle level of the mind, then it doesn't have to depend on the brain.
How it is interconnected, like
Huh?
minds are said it is interconnected.
Minds what?
Interconnected.
Yeah. The minds,
Yeah,
Are they connected among each other? Yeah, of course. Because it's like the river that originates from the snow mountain goes into the ocean. All the way. But this does not mean to say that the river does not undergo change. It goes change all the time, sometimes falling from the top of a rock, sometimes becoming dirty, sometimes disappearing underground, but somehow it continues and then finally reaches the ocean. So the mind also, it travels in its journey. Sometimes mind becomes mind of human being, sometimes mind of a dog, sometimes mind of a child, and then ultimately, if you purify it, enlightenment. If not purify it, then cycle of existence. Okay, that one.
We talk about the nature of all things to be in a constant state of impermanence. But then we also talk about everlasting happiness. Are these two contradictory?
Two things. Number one, we don't say all phenomena are impermanent. They are permanent phenomena also. Okay? Then the English word, everlasting, not necessarily permanent. Something that continues forever, not necessarily permanent. Just now I give you the example of the flow of the stream. Maybe everlasting, but not permanent.
Those are synonyms.
Huh?
Those are synonyms.
I don't know. I am not an expert in English. So as far as I understand, there may be a little bit difference between everlasting, everlasting advice, something like that. I don't know that technical, differences. But the point I'm making is there are things which continues. They continue but undergo change. That's impermanent. Then there are things which is not produced by cause and conditions. We call it permanent. Yeah. Huh? For example, whiteness. In grammar, we say abstract nouns. Whiteness, emptiness, they are permanent. They are not produced. These are very complex. They are not produced by causes and conditions. They are abstract qualities. So therefore, it's not easy, yeah. So anyway, the definition, again, permanent phenomena, this is a rare thing I'm sharing. Permanent does not mean that it should be there forever. At least my understanding. Permanent phenomena are those phenomena which are there but which are not produced by causes and conditions. And those phenomena which are produced by causes and conditions are called impermanent phenomena. That's my understanding. Okay. Somebody who never asked, yeah, that one.
Would you say that we should aim for nirvana?
We should?
Aim for nirvana.
Absolutely.
And you said nirvana has a dependent existence.
Yeah. So
we aim for something that is dependent.
So therefore, this is a very important question, because when you say, shall we all aim for nirvana, this is almost like saying, shall we all aim for freedom? Because nirvana means liberation, freedom from the bondage of negative emotions. So we should definitely aim towards that. And as I mentioned yesterday, in Buddhism, when we talk about dharma practice, it is actually referring to those practices which leads to achieving liberation, nirvana. If it is not aimed towards that, then strictly speaking, it is not dharma practice. It is a good practice, but not necessarily dharma practice.
One could also get attached to the positive emotions also.
Exactly, that's wrong. Yeah, it's there in the text. It says, don't develop, if you develop attachment to the Buddha, to the Dalai Lamas.
No, I'm talking about the emotions.
Emotions also same. So normally we feel, okay, Dalai Lama should be devoted and develop attachment and obsession. Wrong.
Then the ultimate goal should be reaching at the neutral stage of mind.
Huh?
ultimate goal should be reaching at the neutral state of mind?
No, not just neutral. A positive.
Positive and negative both are not impacting us.
No. It's not like a stone. Because if you become like a stone, what is the use? There's no feeling. No positive, no negative things can impact you. But we are not talking about achieving such a state which is insensitive, no feeling, nothing, not like that. You reach a permanent state of happiness, a state where there is compassion, where there's love, where there's positive emotions, But should not develop attachment to all those qualities that you have. And this is a very important question actually, because when you develop some power, some education, because your attachment, obsession to that, you become arrogant. This is exactly what has happened with Mao Zedong. In the beginning, he had difficulty with his father, and his mother was a devout Buddhist. He had difficulty with his father, fighting with him all the time. But anyway, in the beginning, he had this idea of, serving the farmers, peasants. He was really genuinely committed to helping them because he saw many wrong things happening there. Just the other day I was watching his short biography there. But then when he got the power, as we always say, power corrupts power, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Then he became mad. Then he started killing everybody or asking others to kill them. 75 million people lost their life. 75 million people. I did not say killed. They lost their life by killing or whatever. For example, if you read these two biographies of Mao Zedong, one which was written by his personal physician who was with him, served him for 20 years, when he finally escaped and then wrote this story. There he says that in the end, because of his atrocity and all the bad things that he did, he could not trust anybody. He was shifting from one room to another room almost every night. Even when he travels, he used to carry his bed with him. So no end to lunacy. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
So I also have a question about understanding the true nature of the mind.
Yeah.
So for me, or I think you also taught, words are just a tool. It's just like part of a projection to help us understand reality, but it's not the truth. Therefore, the mind is wordless.
Mind is what?
Wordless, without words.
Wordless.
Yeah, because words don't really
Mind is
represent the truth.
No, mind of course is wordless because mind has no mouth.
Yeah. But what about emotions? So I myself just know the emotions that I have been taught. And so we also use words for emotions, and I think emotions are therefore kind of human-made. So what is the true nature of emotions, and is everlasting happiness just a worldly thing?
As I mentioned earlier, a very special feature of human being is the language, the capacity to communicate, share each other's experience. If you have no language, how can you educate other people? How can you share your experience of different types of emotions? And in fact, if you read science, the reason that we are able to capture the whole world is because of brain and language. There was a time when the sky was ruled by hawks and eagles. Human beings were nowhere to be seen at that time. The sky was ruled by birds. Sea was ruled by crocodile and other ferocious sea animals. Human beings were nowhere there in sight. Land was controlled by tigers and lions and snakes. Human beings were nowhere there. We are just very fragile animal waiting for the leftovers of the tiger and lion. You see? Then how That was our state at that time. Then how did we manage to control all of this now? Air, space, land, water, everybody, language and brain. We started speaking to each other, sharing our experiences, then came together, then we invented telling stories, walked together. Through that way we are able to invent fire and things like that. Then gradually we become the lord of almost everything right now. So therefore language, even when we say, for example, emptiness, you are right in that sense, because when we talk about emptiness, we do teach emptiness, as I was also explaining. But in terms of your actual reality of emptiness, you can't talk about it unless you experience it. Therefore, there is a very interesting, verse about emptiness where it says, I pay homage to the mother of the three times. Mother of the three times. Mother means wisdom perfection, which talks about emptiness. I pay homage to the mother of the three times, which is unthinkable, inexpressible. It is a wisdom gone beyond. It is not born, it will not cease. That is the wisdom gone beyond. So, and then the example that they given is just like a dumb person tasting sugar. Because the dumb person is tasting sugar, he is experiencing it. But because he has no language, he can't teach it, he can't talk about it. So the real, feeling, you can't talk about it. That is the meaning.
It is a feeling, emptiness.
Yeah. Okay?
So, circling back to my question from before about the emptiness of the mind. So I failed to understand basically, because in Buddhism the mind doesn't have, it's impermanent, right? But it doesn't have a start and also not an end, right? So how something that has never arose, never became into being, because it ever lasting,
No.
can be empty.
No. It came into being. It came into being.
The first moment, or like
This is the question. So the question whether there is a beginning, it's not just Buddhism. Bertrand Russell, the great philosopher. He said people who talk about the beginning of the mind or beginning of universe shows the limitation of their mind. How can I say there is a beginning? When my parents, I came from my parents, that I know for sure. My parents came from their parents, for sure. And their parents should also come from their parents. You keep going, then suddenly you say, oh, here it all started, there's no parent. Doesn't make sense, illogical, at least from Buddhist viewpoint. Yeah. So it continues. So continuing doesn't mean, as I already mentioned, something continuing doesn't mean it is not undergoing change.
So how can it be empty if it doesn't have a beginning?
Huh?
Right? How can it be empty? Because it didn't arose from causes.
So you didn't listen carefully to me. When I say empty, I said empty of independent existence.
So it should have causes.
Yes, definitely.
It exists.
Yeah.
But it never started,
Because
it never rose.
because it has a cause, it is dependent on the cause. Because it is a cause, it is dependent on the condition. Therefore, it does not have independent existence.
But if it never arose, it never came.
I didn't say never arose. It rose from its cause and condition.
Cause is not
Yeah, these are. I'm not trying to bring any conclusion. These are not that easy thing about it. Okay.
Going back to the topic of violence in the Buddhist,
Huh?
going back to the topic of violence
Mm.
in the Buddhist view, is it ever appropriate to use violence to defend oneself or others or a child? And also the monks who use the self-immolation.
Yeah. Normally we use the word wrathful, not violence.
Okay.
Wrathful. You should be a little bit forceful and wrathful. Yeah, the violence is not how you express yourself physically. You may be physically express yourself almost like being violent or wrathful, Deep down you have no hatred, no anger. That's the difference. Yeah. So that is possible, but that's just possible. It's not easy.
And in the case of the monks who use self-immolation, which is violent or wrathful towards themselves, how are they able to
Wrathful
generating negative karma?
violence, yes, this is a very tricky question. And we found it very difficult to address this issue. Even His Holiness found it very difficult to address this issue. Because they are doing this for the country, for the people who suffered so much. Now you can't say, this is violence, you're killing yourself. It's very difficult to say. And at the same time, we cannot recommend, say, oh, you're so brave, you're patriotic, go on, We never say things like that. But actually, violence is violence, whether you do it to yourself or do it to others. But then we are all ordinary human beings, Somewhere we are under the, force of negative emotions. We make mistakes, you see. But with a good motivation, so there is a difference, right? But the one thing that bothers me is some journalists, they come and interview me by saying, isn't this violence, Then I said, ask this question to the Chinese. The Chinese government has been destroying the whole nation. You don't dare to ask even one question. And the Tibetans, just to protect their culture, religion, destroying themselves, not other people. And then you say, hey, isn't this against Buddhism? Then I tell them, okay, don't ask me this, very comfortable.
So doesn't violence depend on intention?
Absolutely.
And then if your intention in self-immolation is not violence, but...
Exactly. So violence, again, as you rightly mentioned, violence normally, strictly speaking, yes, you should not be violent to yourself also, but generally speaking, when we say violence, it is with other human beings, other sentient beings, primarily, not against yourself, ordinarily speaking, yeah.
You use the word sentience, a lot of the meditative teachers use it too, and I'm wondering what the definition is of sentience.
Any living being that has a mind, consciousness, we call it sentient.
For sure, so like ants.
Huh?
Ants?
Yeah, of course.
Trees.
Tree depends. Tree, there are animals which look like trees, not tree. We think they are tree, but not tree.
The trees communicate, and they...
Listen. So I did not say that. There are some trees which look like trees, but animals, they have consciousness. There are other trees where the tree itself is not a conscious being, but conscious sentient beings live there. So if you harm that tree, it's harming their residents, so they will harm you back. And then you think, oh, it is...
Would you say that some humans aren't sentient?
Huh?
Would you say that some humans are not sentient?
What?
Would you say that some humans are not sentient then?
There's only way of saying it. Strictly speaking, of course, they are sentient beings because they have consciousness, but the way they behave is not like they are sentient. Yes, in that sense. Okay, thank you. Tugji che. You have your Tibetan language, Tugji che.